So I started coming out against Nikki Haley, and I chose last time to come out against her for her you know stance on taking down memorial statues and uh, artifacts or something like that, like this from the Civil War. From you know, I could have come out with her. I mean, against her for interventionist policies. But if you look at it, she's doing both of these things, and I don't know who I'd have to explain it to, why it's not good to take down those artifacts and those statues, because it's kind of pointless to argue. I mean, I might not have a good way to explain. I might not be able to express why, but I just know that there's not something cool about it, and I can't explain it. But then to that kind of person, there's a why would you explain it to that kind of person? That it's a horrible waste of energy to try and explain why, if you're not fucking with history anymore, that you wouldn't expect that anybody after you would be anybody younger than you who doesn't have the exposure to it yet, why it would be harmful. Like I really don't have the energy to say why it would be harmful if I can't perfectly enlighten you why it's not good. But anyway, I don't trust you anyway, because you're the type of motherfucker that will get behind a mayor that will go out and hand out signs for people to protest when they're in school, and let them out of school, or pass out these, like, if the kids wanted to fucking all get up and walk out of the high school on their own, that's one thing. But when they had pre-printed signs, when they have pre when they have like, they got a hell of a deal from the print shop. They really cut them a hell of a deal to make all that shit. They really have their shit together already. So I don't trust it, the intention for you to take it upon yourself to decide what, like, the parents didn't have it. Oh, I'm sure all the parents were like taking their kids to school thinking that they were gonna just walk out, all and go protest. So maybe that's why they're having more shootings, because they're convenient, and then they can pull this kind of bullshit, except get people more behind it, like a warlock. Like some they made a warlock out of this boy. um I forget his name, from the Parkland shooting. Like they made, you know like they used to make witches out of, with the, monarch butterfly sex kitten programming, on the Mickey Mouse Club, like, Britney Spears, like these, how they it goes back to, people losing their faith in the church. That one of the quickest, easiest ways to get people to redeem their faith would be to see that which represents innocence, to them, get behind something, and want to become an altar boy, and you would go support them in being an altar boy, and it was kind of like a way of creating a warlock, you know unbeknowingly. I don't fault anybody for that type of thing. But so at the same time that you're proliferating war, you're also into destroying history, much like Hitler. When you know I've never been able to place Hitler out of book burning. You know, if you want to call that a defense, I don't know what the fuck. That's not a defense. That's just the fact. I have never myself been able to place him at that. All right, so. This is how they try to use what's it called, extortion on people on a mass level. Like, I don't have to be in personally in touch with any extortionist, but they've set it out so that extortion will just sort of be like a dark cloud over everybody. Like when the one reporter was evoking a standard of beauty by suggesting that it's wrong for DeSanto to say don't monkey this up because monkey, you know who's supposed to be offended by monkey. So evoked or invoked a standard of beauty, and it is a form of extortion, and it affects everybody a little bit different. It's not how I feel about it. Like, I'm past the dumb shit. Like, I'm just gonna state the things that I can definitively disassociate myself from the knowledge, unraw, because I don't actually, like, basically everything I say is stuff I don't actually know, and all I have is facts. So, I mean, I'm willing to get through these things and find and get to the bottom of it, and whoever comes out and mm, um, you know, sheds light on certain things that we didn't know and explains um, the past, in these instances, like, better, then that will be true. You know, until then, like, what I'm saying is true because I'm determining, like, I'm determining that it should be my business to state what I don't know, what I can't afford to arrive at conclusions with, because you'll see extortion purposes. There's reasons that you're not allowed, like, you're so indecent, like you're um making, what's it called, you're defending Hitler because you're not stating that you have the smoking gun that places him in these situations. But did you ever notice that you can't you can't really put one person to say that he's behind all of these things? It doesn't add up. Like, uh, you can have ties with people. They can be hard to manage. You don't really know what you're getting into with a massive propaganda campaign and a war. You don't know how people are going to respond in situations, and um, there's been wars where allegiances shift. They shift in the course of the war. I think Haile Selassie bought all of the rifles before of an enemy, I guess, an enemy um, clan. It's clannish, you know. Ethiopia is clannish. It's not the clan, you know. But I mean, okay. So this is the point then, where I guess I just need to suppose that I've said what I can say. But as far as following Nikki Haley into foreign conflicts and starting more wars, because she's not a racist, obviously. She's obviously not a racist, bro. You know, they're out here. Basically, it was the fiefdom of Nazis, that was the thing when I was in high school, when it was cool to be like a gutter punk, um, or like a, I don't know. There's some really hardcore punks that actually you find out that they're really frail, but you still, I mean, you just get a better idea of what punk is, because they were just really on some hardcore drugs. But yeah, they had crushed fascism, you know, patches, and I thought it was cool. It still was. It was then, you know. But for some grizzly old fucking politicians to make it a thing again, when, I mean, I don't know, I guess you could say the Swinging Utters was the closest thing to like a Nazi skin, and it's not that, it's like they're a poppy band. um hey, the um the Sex Pistols used to have swastikas, and so did Buddha and Hindus, and I mean, it's the it's a Safway, but it's like it's not rigid, it's straight lines. So it would be like what a Safway is. If that's a okay, here's the fucking good point. Try looking up Safway on the internet. It's not terribly easy. It's just Safway. It's the same symbol that you see on a Safeway. It's called a swirly cross. The swirly cross, and it's like it's connected to the Dagon lore, the Gad, or the I don't know, it's like, I don't want to tie it in with Mithraism because it could be something else. There's a lot of that in H.P. Lovecraft literature, but it's older than that. So I mean, he's this it has something to do with the Indians and the South Africa and India. There was a shipping, or a ship channel between South Africa and India, and it's part of the sailor's lore. Um, it's also a literal beast. The Safway is a symbol, and the symbol is a beast. It's a symbol for a beast. Um, then there's the implications that it has for stereotyping. It's like it stereotyping has to do with disassembling the marriage between uh, a number and the deities, and has to do with making new symbols out of them. That's stereotyping, and has to do with reversing uh, energy, turning it back around to the other way. Um, and do you know, like, when they're running around the Kaaba at Mecca and Medina, Muhammad, um, uh, his his big thing was about taking his tribe and to worship at Mecca and Medina, and they ran around the opposite way. Um, I don't really understand what that has to do with his rise to power, but rise to power is a rendition of sound. That's pretty deep. I'm gonna go ahead and put this out, and I don't know if I can finish it up later. But it's kind of hard for me to keep going on because I don't want to spiral out, and then I will not release the video because then I'll be like, no, 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 and make points. Um, it has to do with the charge. Uh, the energy symbolism is where you get the symbol for the electronic field, the I Ching, which is the I Ching is a series of broken and unbroken lines that has some sort of a what's it called? It's kind of like a more real version of Ouija. It's like you can ask certain catered questions to the I Ching, and you'll get a um a response, kind of like astrology. And the Ouija board. The reason why a Ouija board is haunted and you can throw it in the fire and it'll be back, and break it a million times and bury it and it'll keep coming back, is because it's garbage. Like it's really like a crappy. It's just really like a. It's really gypsy. Like it's really like it's ghetto. It's the ghetto version of the I Ching, you know. So I mean, yeah, it's like it could be. I mean, it's just like. Anyway, fuck all that. I don't want to talk about that. uh, yeah, that's cool for now. Shit.